Alright guys, so this video is going to be a little different. I'm not going to build anything. I'm going to do one of those top 10 lists that you see all over about workshops and stuff like that. I've watched a ton of them. I've taken some notes from them. Some of my stuff is actually from those videos. So my top 10 is things you need in your shop. And that's stuff that you can build, the stuff that you can buy, the stuff you can add, that's tools. I'm covering a variety of things here. Again, I've seen these all over, and you can actually probably watch 10 of these videos and you'll probably come up with 50 different things, because a lot of them have the same in there, because some of you really just do need a lot, and some people just have some crazy off the wall ideas that they need, which I think is pretty awesome. So let's dive right into it in no particular order with number one. First thing I think you need is a box of pencils / a box of Sharpies, depending if you're woodworking or if you're metalworking. I also was suggested to start using colored pencils. I've never thought of those, but those are something that might be worth a try. The thing with you need a whole box of these is because you're going to lose a ton of them. You're going to leave one over here, and you're going to leave one over there, and leave one right there. You just leave them absolutely everywhere. And I just actually had a project that I needed a pencil about this big, so I cut one down and I used that. And markers are the same way. You just lose them everywhere, and then drawing on wood or metal, they dry up pretty fast. But what I would recommend doing is, when you go to buy a box of these, if you can, wait until back to school season starts and you can pick these up stupid cheap. The second thing I think that you need in your shop, and I actually got this off of one of the videos, is a bench brush. I have to work on saying that, a bench brush. Because I use it all the time to clear off this table, to clear off the miter station, to clear off the workbench. I just use it a lot. And the cool thing about this one is I got it from Harbor Freight and it was like $3. So get yourself one or two of these. I keep it up on by the workbench, and it's just a quick, easy thing to do to clear it off before you put finished parts on it or stuff that you don't want to get dirty and disgusting and damaged and metal shavings all over. So this, a bench brush, that is definitely a must. Alright, the third thing I think you need is a good storage way for your fasteners. For instance, this is what I have for my bolts. So these are my bolt bins right here. There's actually two of them. I have the top one I got from off Amazon. That just screws right to the wall. And then this one down here I got from Menards like 10 years ago. The bins come right off. You can bring them over to where you're working. You can bring them back. You can separate them. Probably should label them at some point. But I think that a bolt storage thing like this is really essential for keeping everything just organized and easy to see. And like I said, instead of grabbing just a giant bolt bin, you can get these different sizes. I also have this for fastener storage. I actually have, I call it my nail-a-cell. If you've watched my Shop Hacks video, you'll see it on there. I got a bunch of jarred nails and screws and stuff like that from my grandpa when he passed away. And then I put a bunch of just the random screws and nails, you know, the specialty ones, you know, for siding and fascia and all that kind of stuff up here. And then I put it right in the corner, and I just put it right on a turntable. It's just so valuable because it's right in that back corner, so it doesn't take up a lot of space, and I can still get to and see everything that I need to use. Again, storage like that where you can see everything, everything's labeled, it makes things so much easier. And number 4, you need one of these. You need a place to store or hang all your battery-powered power tools. You can see right here I have my chargers all up top. So ideally, if I do everything right, my batteries will be up here fully charged, ready to be used. I have everything hanging right here. You can make these. There's plans available all over the internet. You can even buy them. I've seen, I don't know how much they are because I've never looked, but I know you can buy them. Because I just made this one, and it was quick, simple, easy to make. I store stuff back there. I store my hole saws back in the way back, so I have them for the drills. If you have battery powered tools like this that all run off the same platform, whether that be your DeWalt or your Milwaukee or whatever else you guys use out there, this is just the way to go, because everything stays together and you're not searching for batteries, you're not losing that kind of stuff. Now, number 5 is very simple, and it used to be used all the time back in the day, and as we got better and we've got more tools and CNCs and everything like that, people have gotten away from this, but I think it's just, let's go back to basic, stupid, simple stuff. Let's go back to the pegboard, because it's just amazing. You can see I have everything relatively organized. I've seen a lot of people with the backdrops of their videos are just these beautiful walls that have all these parts CNC'd in there, inlaid. I've seen a lot of people are going to like the foam inserts right there that hang everything up. Those are absolutely great and wonderful. But the thing is you can't change them. without having to do a whole lot more work. Pegboard and pegboard hooks, beautiful. I just reorganized this a few months ago. You can add, you can take away. Pegboard is so important. My dad used to have almost his whole garage wrapped in pegboard, and as a kid I thought that was crazy. Now that I'm an adult, I think that's actually more genius than anything. But I've had pegboard in all of my shops, and I will always have it because I feel, again, you can go the CNC slot route for everything, so everything's got a nice place. You can get the expensive foam and cut it all out. But what happens when that particular tool breaks and you need a new one that doesn't have the same dimension? So, like I said, pegboard, it's semi-cheap for what it is. The hooks are cheap. You can get a variety of hooks. And the cool thing is even the little cutoffs that you can use. I'll show you right behind you. So as you can even see right here, I just had a cutoff of the stuff that I had behind you on the other wall. I hung it up and I use it for all of my blades and stuff like that. Again, pegboard, I can't express how much I think that it's a necessity in any shop. And now number 6, bit storage. I know that might seem kind of crazy. I know you can buy kits that come with the storage kit and everything like that. This right here I made out of just some 1x4. I just drilled a bunch of holes. I made it so it steps up. This thing makes it so much more functionally easier and better because I just keep it on the workbench and everything sits right here. You can clearly see everything that you need. I keep some of my punches up in here too. It's just, I just really like this thing. I think that it's such an essential little tool, and compared to just setting bits down, losing bits, because these little guys are pretty tiny. I mean, you can lose these real easy. You can also see the shape of them, that if they're in good shape, if they're in bad shape. You know, if you've got smaller parts, you can see your smaller bits here. It's one of those things that you don't really think about and you don't really appreciate until you have. This is definitely something I would recommend that you make. Again, it's just you gotta drill some holes and nail some boards together. Number 7. Now this one I've seen in a lot of videos, and I'm going to put it in this one because I 100% agree with it, because I went from having very awful to semi-better, and that is lighting. Lighting in your shop is extremely important, not just for me when I'm filming, but when I'm doing finish work. You want to be able to see everything and see how things are going to look. Obviously, you'll never have it as good as natural daylight, but I've went through, and I think in 4 years, this is like my 3rd set of lighting I've gotten. I just upgraded to 100% LEDs. You can get Harbor Freight LEDs. I don't know if those are very good or not. I have no idea. I just know they're cheap. What I did is I actually saw Menards had a great sale on 4-footers, and I bought a bunch of them, and that's what I use. You can't really have too much lighting. I even have this guy right back here that lights up particular bench tools. Lighting, it's just, like I said, it's just so important especially for finishing, because it allows you to see shadows in different variations and stuff like that. And if you can get stuff on sale, you can really pull off some really nice lighting for pretty cheap. Number 8 is something that I just actually started using in the shop, and that is 5-minute epoxy. That was a very aggressive slam down that I just did, but this is like the 4th take on this, so I'm getting a little aggressive. But 5-minute epoxy, it's something that I just kind of started using. I use this as an adhesive, but I also use this as a filler. If you've got knots or voids in your wood or anything like that, 5-minute epoxy works really well for filling those voids. And then the cool thing about it is if you get yourself some pigment that I got a box of it off Amazon for dirt cheap. You can mix colors and do your own colors to help kind of match what you're doing. But this is something that I can see me needing and using in the shop a lot more. So this has now found its permanent home in my bolt storage area. But I know where it is. Number 9. Now I've talked about this in a variety of videos on TikTok and stuff like this. It's great for Christmas presents for people who are do-it-yourselfers. And that's do-it-yourselfers from automotive to metal shop to everything. This is something that you need as many as you can get. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about tape measures. This might sound funny to put in this, but this is an absolute must-have. Not just a tape measure in a shop. I'm talking as many tape measures that you can get your hands on. Harbor Freight used to give them away. I don't know if they still do. I think you can get them dirt cheap. This is actually one of them I got for Christmas from my dad a few years ago. But their tape measures, you lose them, you set them down. you want about 500 million of them. I have a shelf that I fill up, and then by the time the project's done, I have one left, because they end up over here and over there and over here. You can never, in my opinion, have too many tape measures. Take care of your tape measure. One thing you always want to watch out for is the end bent and everything like that. If you want, for tape measures, get yourself a metal ruler like this, and then what you can do to just see how true they are is compare your tape measure to the metal ruler. Do it all across the board, because tape measures can vary. So if you're doing something with super tight tolerances, obviously keep one tape measure so you know that's the measurements you're using. But for in general, get yourself a ton of tape measures. Number 10 is corded reels. That is for electric and for air. Now, in my last shop, I had a corded electric cord reel. When we moved and before I built this shop and I worked out of the garage, you know, that weird time in your life, I had my reel out in the garage, and when I built this shop, my wife said that stays, then I could get another one, because they're just so awesome. You don't have to run extension cords, and you just grab it, yank it out, retract it, hence the fact retractable cords. Not just the electric, but the airline one too. I use that thing all the time. I have it up high. I can yank it, bring it down. I'm not fighting the stupid hose that tangles all the time, trying to get it to look neat and decently put back into a giant circle thing. Those things, they're just a lifesaver. They save so much time, so much energy. Obviously, you can't plug everything into them, but it is really nice. And this one, I think most of them come with ones for 3 things to plug into. They're fantastic. Again, you just pull it out, and it retracts itself back in. It cleans up after itself, really. So that is my list of 10 things that you need in your shop. But wait, there's more. I'm also going to give you a couple of safety things that you might need in the shop. One, and I'm just going to spitball through these really fast. One thing that I would really recommend you do is go down to Harbor Freight. Right, get yourself a bunch of these, a bunch of ear protection. They're like $5, unless you want to buy them from Monster Jam. The guy outside, he charges $20. You go to Menards, you get these for $5. I have 2 pair of these in the shop, and then I have a pair of ones that play music that are fancy for me. But I find myself still grabbing these. Now, why do you need more than 1 pair? A, you set them down somewhere and then you got to go find them. But B is because I always have my kids in the shop with me, or you might have somebody coming in or is helping you with a project or something like that. Just get yourself a few pairs of these. It's going to save your hearing, and they're pretty darn cheap unless you want to get them from Monster Jam. While you're there, though, also what you can do, get yourself some of these, some safety glasses. I think they're 99 cents, 97 cents, but with inflation, they're probably 14 bucks now. But at Harbor Freight, safety glasses, super cheap, and get a bunch of these. And not just because you have other people in the shop with you, which is why originally I bought a bunch of them, but because I lose these things like crazy. They're dirt cheap, and they save your eyes. These things are an absolute lifesaver. Speaking of lifesaver, one thing that people probably overlook in their shop, and I did for a long time, is a fire extinguisher. Where's mine right now? It's right over there. Get yourself a fire extinguisher, because guess what? Fires happen. Recently, I did actually have a fire in the shop a few months ago. I was cutting some metal, and stupidly, I was cutting it into all the sparks going into the insulation. I looked up and there was a small fire. I was able to put it out without this, but my first thought was to grab this because I have it. This thing can save you thousands of dollars just by having one of these in your shop and spraying stuff with it if there's a fire, instead of letting your entire shop burn to the ground. The other thing that you can have in your shop, and I don't have one, but as a smoke detector, that would also be a great idea, because there are going to be the times where you are doing metal fab or something like that, and you turn your back and it starts then on fire, or if you're in automotive, things tend to happen. All right, and those are the 10 things that I think you need in your shop. A little bit of bonus add-ons at the end. Let me know if there's things that you swear by that need to have in your shop. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.